Now then people, it's Joe, Leeds TV. I've not long been back. I've just been for a takeaway. Had a bit of my pizza and that, and I started to think, oh, I don't know if I can be asked doing a video tonight, and it just makes me realise like how shit I feel and how low I feel after a Leeds United loss. It's been quite some time obviously, but you know, I think with the Preston game, obviously in the cup, you know, probably did us a favour. That was my thinking at the time. It's the cup, and the performance, yeah, it wasn't great against Preston, but you know, it was a different side. Today, obviously, we've still got a few injuries, and it's becoming more apparent how key they are of a miss. But I think today, just the performance, yeah, we had a lot of possession, but it just lacked any sort of ingenuity, just anything really. Just from the get-go, we just weren't at the races. You know, bar Alioski's late goal, who by the way was absolutely shocking today in my opinion, and I'm getting slowly like really pissed off at him. Like, it's been gradual, but I think it gradually inconsistent, but I think it got sort of like, you let him off because you're winning games. I think I said last time when he was offside against Preston on the last game, Tuesday, I said, mate, be offside all day if we're going to win 3-0. But like today, even though he scores a goal and it's a great finish, I was so annoyed with him. That free kick, Barry Douglas had a free kick. How's he offside there? What's he doing? Like, it's you know, do you say, right, Barry, you probably shouldn't have played the ball to him, but listen, you see a white shirt who's in a bit of space and you know you're chasing your game, you're going to give it him, do you know what I mean? And he's right in front of the line-out, and that's my corner where I sit, and it's just so frustrating. But yeah, I mean, like I say, you know, the mad thing is, obviously, I'd said prior to the game 2-3-0, and I was confident in that. And then on the drive down, I was with my pal Sean, and I was talking to him in the car, and you know, I just thought, like, it's one of them fixtures, you know, we're unbeaten, they haven't won, it's Gary Monk, you know, and it turned out to be one of them days. I thought, you know, there was some minging, you know, unsportsmanlike behaviour by Birmingham, but listen, they're down there. They've been playing really well, but you know, we're what, 8, 9, 10 games in, and they haven't registered a win. So you can sort of forgive them for that. You know, it's what you do, isn't it? Especially when you're that sort of garbage team. Do you know what I mean? That are struggling for the first win, and it was minging. I think the ref had a shocker today. Peter Banks, you absolute disgrace. You know, for me, unless there's been a serious injury, you shouldn't be getting 8 minutes at a time. The reason we got 8 minutes at a time, because he allowed them to take the piss throughout the full 90 minutes. You know, some of that, it was like he wanted, like there was one where we'd gone to play out from the back, and he picked the ball up and like sort of marauded around the pitch with his ball, like, you know, I'm running the show, do you know what I mean? Like, it was all theatre for him. I thought he was an absolute disgrace, and he needs to be looked at. The refereeing performance, even for both sides though, because there was 50-50, there was like the header in the box that was a genuine 50-50 with Ayling and theirs, and he gives it them. And I think some of the decisions, it was whoever came out with the ball in these 50-50s, there was one with Click as well, whoever won the ball, he were given a free kick to the opposing team. There wasn't genuine fouls in there. It felt to me at time, oh, I can't make a decision here. Leeds have come out with the ball, okay, free kick, Birmingham, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what it was like at times. He loved it. It felt like he loved it, and it was an absolute joke of a performance. But yeah, shout out to Phillips. Obviously, he got brought off again. For me, I know I've seen a lot on Facebook that might disagree, but for me, it wasn't a performance thing. It seemed to me it was more tactical. It showed that. Bielsa said that after the game. As soon as he, you know, took him off and brought Dallas on, we were playing with the back three. You know, with Douglas and Dallas on either side. At one point, you know, I'd seen Phil had said it was a 3-3-1-3 at one point with Saiz being the one. And do you know what it is? And I'm glad he makes these sort of changes. I'd rather be there than still huffing and puffing in the 70th minute. You know, we did give it a go You know, they're a really physical side at the back. Tyler Roberts, I thought, was the only shining light for me. I thought he had a great game. Some of his movement was class. And he's so good technically. He's such a good technical footballer. You know, when he gets that ball, you know, he's not afraid to... he's not afraid. He's so confident. He's not afraid to drop his shoulder and have a little go and have a little extra touch. I thought he was really good and probably the only shining light for me. You might disagree. You know, I think just the team as a whole, they wasn't really at the races. There was no quick, snappy passes. You know, I discussed in the game, and I did so in the Football Republic documentary, how we can go from 1, 2, 3 passes and all of a sudden be in front of goal. Whereas that wasn't the case today. There was just no snap. I thought Pontus Jansson had a terrible game. Even some of his passes, you know, he was... even playing them across the ground, it seemed to Ayling at times was a trouble for him. They always seemed to be bobbling or bouncing or putting Ayling in trouble. Sorry, my voice has gone from shouting at that knob of a ref. You know, there was one, even before they scored the first goal, where he passed it to Ayling in such a tight scenario, and in another day, their striker nicks it and scores. So I just thought Pontus Jansson wasn't at the races. Didn't win his individual battle with Adams and Jukovic. Thought him and Cooper they struggled. They really struggled, especially when we come up against Boroughs and stuff, and we dealt with them so comfortably in the air at times. I thought, you know, that Birmingham were a real thorn in our side, and you can sort of see that they don't deserve to be where they are, and you can see, you know, we know what Monk's about. He's going to keep them in games, and you know, they're going to be good defensively. He's a defensive minded coach. You know what I mean? So there you go. In terms of their goals, I've seen some people say the second was a good finish and stuff, but for me, both of them, Bailey's absolutely at fault. That first one especially, like, me and everyone around me is like looking at, I think, because, you know, I'm in the cop and close to the goal, you know, even Cooper turned round and was like, Bailey, but like, you know, he sort of gesticulated towards him as if to say, what was that, you know? And then when that first goes in, it just felt like one of them days we were on a bit of a hide into nothing, really. You know, when the 8 minutes went up, don't get me wrong, and Alioski scored, I still thought there was time in it, but then we sort of just lost that oomph again. But yeah, Bailey, Peacock, Farrell, really poor goalkeeping for both for me. He should stop both. I think the seconds, there's not enough venom on the shot for it to be going in off the post for me. And he's a big lad, Bailey. He should be getting across, and especially for the first. The first is terrible. You know, I think it's that bad of a shot that Che Adams is actually aiming for where Bailey's going. That's my opinion. He's actually trying to put it in there, but it's sort of, it's garbage, you know, and he sort of fluffs it for me, and it goes in. But Bailey should be getting it. So yeah, just all in all, it's just been a bit of a naff day. And like I say, I think that our saving grace, luckily, is that we're still top of the table. Because I'm telling you now, had we not been top of the table, I think we'd be in for quite a battering from the rest of the championship. Because, you know, they love to do that. Sort of glad we're not on Sky as well, because you can be almost certain Keith Andrews would be able to spin it round into something that it's not. I've seen the guys at Talking Shut come out and say it's only one game. It is only that. We were going to lose eventually. It's shite that it's today, but ultimately it might be a wake-up call, because, you know, and there's a lot to be said that listen, you would say the professionals, but do they become complacent? Was it a bit of complacency from the boys? You know, you just don't know, do you? But they definitely, in that first half, they definitely weren't at the races. When Phillips comes off and he makes a tactical change, and Bielsa's come out since and said that the reason they lost the game, that he didn't make the tactical change early enough, and by that point when he did, and we came into the game, and absolutely, to be fair, we were the ones that looked threatening. We just, the final ball and stuff was off. We had a lot of the ball. You know, if we play that formation from the start, maybe it's a different game, I don't know. But like Bielsa said, by the time he'd made them changes, we were already 2 behind. And we shouldn't have been, you know, because for me, the goalkeeping let us down. But, you know, key call-outs for me, obviously, Phillips, you know, I don't want people to start getting on his case again. For me, it was done tactically, not because of his performance. That's just my opinion. Alioski, terrible. You know, some people who might not be at the game who listened, I suppose even listen on the radio, because on the drive back when you're listening to Noel Whelan and stuff, they were even saying in the post match that he didn't have a great game. And yeah, he needs to learn the offside rule. I think for me, the quicker Hernandez is back, the better, and we can maybe try Harrison out there. Referee watch, Peter Banks, absolute shocker. You know, I haven't been that angry at a set of officials for such a long time. I think the Lino actually had a decent game over on our side. It was more, you know, does it become that scenario, do you know, like when you have, let's say, Joey Barton-esque type of footballer, whenever they're getting a challenge, the ref automatically assumes that it's a foul because it's that sort of player. Is Alioski going to become that player where, if it's a 50-50 because it's him, it's just offside, let's chalk it offside? But sorry, yeah, I went a bit off point there. I thought the officials, the referee, sorry, and the man in the middle, Peter Banks, had an absolute shocker. I haven't been that angry for such, you know, for such a long time, and it starts to breed that, you know, that thing of the Football League's corrupt, and there's an agenda against us, both media and league. They don't want us to do well. Crazy thought, but listen, being a Leeds fan, it starts to feel like a reality at times. Roberts again, shout out, really good game, best Leeds player for me. You might disagree, make sure you put it in the comments, because like I say, Monday football will be upon us soon, and I'll be reflecting on your comments. Yeah, we just weren't on it, as I say, it just didn't come off for us today. And then obviously at the back, I think there's two centre-backs lost their individual battles, didn't have the best of games. And then obviously Bailey had a bit of a shocker, but that's it. It is what it is. We move on now. Yeah, we've got Sheff Wednesday, a Yorkshire derby to get back to winning ways. It becomes an even important game. Did I think we would be unbeaten for the month of September? I did say we would. Unfortunately, we're not. Like I say, it's one game. Let's move on. You know, Sheff Wednesday, they won today, but they haven't had the best of starts. Do I think we'll beat them at their place? Yes, and I would hope we would. And then we're back on that march, and I think the saving grace for us is the rest of the teams in and around us. And I know it's still early days, but it still counts. These teams in and around us, like your Borough, they didn't do well today. Brentford got battered 3-1 by Derby. So we're still top of the tree, and it's our saving grace, because you know, as Leeds fans, we do, well, me personally, you know, I shout off the hip. I think we're going to go up this season. I think we're doing really well, and when things go tits up, we head for a bit of a battering. But you know, we're still sitting pretty top of the league. Feels a bit naff. It'll feel crap again tomorrow knowing that we've lost the game. But listen, quick turnaround. We've got Friday to put it to bed, and let's put the pressure back on. Let's beat Sheff Wednesday and let them chasing pack. You know, let them know that they've got to go out and gain a point. But listen, we had to lose soon, and we've done it. So let's chalk that one off now as another. It's just a bad day at the office. You know, we had so much possession. We weren't at our best. You know, the passes weren't great. Nothing seemed to come off. But listen, when you're still dominating a game possession-wise, it shows, you know, and it just shows you're a good team for me. We're a good team. It's just the final ball, the decision making wasn't best at times. Saiz didn't have a great game. I think if Izzy Brown's fit, Saiz probably comes off for me. That's my opinion. But yeah, listen, we still dominated. It just wasn't there. You guys know anyway. You guys were there. You'll be on the same page as me. We just weren't at the races. But yeah, I'm just rumbling on now. But yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks very much. Make sure you hit like, share, subscribe. We'll look out for Monday as well. Obviously, Monday football will be upon us. Make sure you put all your stuff in your comments. That goes for Birmingham fans as well. And as I say, I'll read them out and respond on Monday. Make sure you check out Oscar and Ramblings as post-match. There's also the stuff we did with the Football Republic. And I know Oscar did an interview with an up-and-coming Leeds band called Skylight. So any Leeds fans out there, they're one of our own, give that a watch as well. But thanks very much. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you all Monday. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds!